Hi everyone, Sean Walbin with Secure Cyber, and this is your weekly cyber update. Well, we've got a ceasefire in place between Israel and Iran, but the U.S. government is still warning of potential cyber attacks that could be happening from Iran into the U.S. against our critical infrastructure. Much like the threat that we're facing from the China and Taiwan situation, we're starting to receive information now that there could be cyber attacks involved with the retaliation of Iran into critical infrastructure in the U.S. As far as the China-Taiwan piece, that's the situation where if China was to infiltrate Taiwan, we're dealing with potential, the potential that our critical infrastructure has already been compromised by such a threat group as Typhoon, which is a Chinese-based threat actor. And we're just emphasizing that this is usually a byproduct of war. Nowadays, there's the kinetic piece. We've got the bombs and the missiles and, the planes dropping bombs and all those types of things. But even when a ceasefire goes into effect, there's this underlying piece where cyber is not really addressed in a ceasefire, and it's really game on. So if you're a critical infrastructure operator in the U.S., I would just be paying very close attention. There was just a bulletin issued today, we're recording this on June 30th. So there's increasing chatter about the potential of attacks from Iran against U.S. critical infrastructure. And speaking of Typhoon, Canada now says that Typhoon was the Chinese threat actor organization that was able to compromise their telecommunication system in Canada. The Canadian authorities indicated that there was a 2023 vulnerability to the Cisco iOS that was compromised. And even though a lot of time had passed, which is about 2 years, still the telecommunications provider in Canada still had devices out there that they hadn't patched. So they were able to basically gain access to the devices and create tunnels, GRE tunnels, in order to infiltrate data and also exfiltrate data from the routers themselves, and also make code modifications in order to skim off data. So again, we bring this up to just say, please take your cyber hygiene seriously and keep those public-facing devices patched. And the last article we'll cover for today, the U.S. House has issued a bulletin indicating that WhatsApp is no longer an approved application to be used for communication inside the House of Representatives. This is interesting because at the end of the Typhoon incident, where the Chinese threat actors had compromised U.S. telecommunications providers, the FBI had actually come out with a bulletin or an article indicating that WhatsApp and Signal were being recommended for secure end-to-end communications. Now we're seeing the government push back a little bit and indicate that WhatsApp is not as secure as they thought it was, even though it offers end-to-end encryption. The issue is that Meta's servers that I guess are used inside the WhatsApp platform are third-party and may not fall under direct control, meaning that they could be anywhere in the world. That was much different than Signal's infrastructure that apparently is more US based. So, the most important thing is for you to do your own due diligence from an encryption perspective. If it's iPhone to iPhone, that's end-to-end encrypted and actually is recommended. Things like Microsoft Teams, using that for communication. The thing I would just overall recommend is to stay off of the public text messaging system. Again, unless you're using something like iMessage. But if you've got like an Android phone, you're going to have to use something like Google Messenger or something for device-to-device communication. So an interesting article and a backtrack from something that the FBI had originally talked about as a secure platform. That's all we have for this week. We're keeping an eye right now on the Iranian threat from the bombings that happened with the U.S., and we'll stay on top of that for you. For right now, let's be careful out there.